So Raoptics just published a blog called Sunlight Between the Cure and Caution, trying to justify their new blue sync sunglasses that blocks 100% of UVA, UVB, and blue-purple light. Now, let me show you why they made a massive mistake that they're announcing it to the world, and why the arguments in this blog are completely misleading. They're half a truth that leads to a full lie. So they say, if there is a sensor, there is always something to detect and to protect. Sensors exist to prevent us from harm. Now, sounds clever, but it's actually misleading. Yes, we do have light sensors in our skin, in our eyes, like neuropsin, a UVA light sensor, S-opsin, blue-purple light opsin. But those are not just sensors to detect dangers. They are your biological ignition switches. They activate your internal pharmacy and all of the essential functions in your brain. Produce dopamine, the hormone of motivation that boosts your focus, serotonin, the hormones of happiness and emotional regulation, and melatonin, the highest antioxidant in nature and the hormone that allows you to access restorative night sleep. So that's just the beginning. Light also activates propiomelaanocortin, POMC, which is a precursor to so many different peptides and hormones like beta endorphin, your natural body painkiller and feel-good hormone, alpha MSH, beta MSH, and gamma MSH, which decreases your inflammation, regulates your appetite so you're less dependent on food, and increases your libido. So the massive issue is when you block UVA from entering your eyes, you stop producing alpha MSH, which actually sends a signal to your skin to produce melanin, your body's natural sunscreen. So when you use a technology like blue sync sunglasses, you shut down the entire system. You break down the feedback loop mechanism between the brain and the skin, and you decouple the sensors between those two important organs. And that's extremely dangerous. It will cause your skin to burn, it will cause hormonal disruption, and it will disrupt your internal GPS that allow you to sync with your environment. So the blue sync are actually desynchronizing you from your environment. They're not protecting you, they're disrupting you. So let's be clear, this isn't a circadian innovation because it doesn't solve a problem. It actually causes the problem, and we can't call this innovation. In this same blog written by Raoptics, they make another claim saying that the therapeutic dose of sunlight need to be typically between 20 to 30 minutes, and that beyond that there's no benefits whatsoever, and that in fact it becomes very harmful and dangerous. So let's debunk this myth once for all. First, let's make it clear, this claim that Raoptics is making is about the skin and is not about the eyes. So using such a claim to justify blocking UV light with the blue light sync sunglasses that they're launching through the eyes is completely misleading and doesn't add up. Also, even when we are talking about the skin, let's look at real data and medical documented history and debunk this. Dr. Auguste Rollier, the father of heliotherapy, he actually used up to 3 to 4 hours of sunlight daily to heal tuberculosis. But it did not start there. He had a very powerful protocol which always began with caution. So he started with 5 minutes a day on a small part of the body like the feet, and then over the days and over the weeks he would gradually increase exposure in both duration and surface area, building all the way up to 3 to 4 hours depending on the individual, and getting to a point where the individual is exposing all of their bodies. So as you can see, a daily total of 2 to 3 hours in the summer and 3 to 4 hours in the winter was sufficient for the average person. Now, another doctor, Oscar Bernhard, the duration of exposure was gradually increased in length up to a maximum to 3 to 6 hours. And these were not just random tanning sessions to look good. We're talking about healing protocols that were strategic, incremental, and had profound therapeutic effects that were able to heal 80% plus of the patients who were struggling with anything between psoriasis to tuberculosis. And sunlight was used and continue to be used to heal, repair bones and joints and skin that is damaged, as well as immune function. So if you still don't believe me, look at the work of Niels Finsen. He's a Nobel Prize winner. He actually prescribed 1 to 2 hours of direct UV exposure to heal skin tuberculosis. Look at the Dead Sea therapy, which used up to 3 hours of direct sunlight per day to heal psoriasis. And the Swedish longevity study, which published a paper saying that sun avoiders are at risk for a shorter lifespan compared to smokers. It's more dangerous to avoid sunlight than to actually smoke your entire lifetime. This is not made up woo. We're talking about real medicine, real backed up data for decades of patients who were able to reverse their issues. We're talking about different hospitals that adopted those principles back in the 1960s or 70s. Sunlight heals when applied gradually and wisely. On day number 1, you start with 5 minutes of sunlight exposure on the feet only, and you cover the rest of your body. And then for each of the subsequent days, you will add one new area of the body. So you will move upward with the shins. On day 2, you will be feet 5 minutes, shins 10 minutes. And then you will continue to add one area while increasing exposure time on all the previously exposed areas by 5 minutes daily. So on day 3, you're gonna do 15 minutes feet, 10 minutes shins, and you're gonna go to the forearms 5 minutes. And you would continue until you expose the upper arms, the thighs, chest, the back, and the abdomen, etc. Note that you are keeping the most sensitive area, the abdomen and the chest, until the end. Why so? Because you are using this experiment to also see how your body is responding to that sunlight exposure. And then you want to start with the less sensitive area and examine how your body is responding to it before you arrive to those more sensitive areas. Also, one great way of doing this, when you start building up that exposure to a greater time and you're hitting 1 hour plus, instead of doing the 1 hour in one straight exposure, you could break it down into 2 to 3 times per day for greater benefits. By the end of the 7 to 10 days, you're already worked up to a full body exposure, and then by then your body is fully adapted, your melanin is active, and your hormonal system are on fire. From this point on, you could slowly and incrementally continue to increase that full body exposure until you arrive to the limit that you think is good for you. In the literature, we see anything between 2 hours to 6 hours. That will really depend on your lifestyle, on how much time you want to invest during that day, on your health conditions and what you're dealing with. So be smart in assessing, go slow. The purpose of doing this and the purpose of incrementally increasing the surface area is that you want to be observant of how your body is responding and you want to adjust to this.